The Mmabatho Sun 500, sixth round of the Total GTE Off-Road Championship, saw the series back on the high veld. Back with the cars, Bux Carolyn and Kenny Scholthammer were still in the lead and bombing along in the Castrol Raceco, which is powered by a Porsche motor. At speeds approaching 180 kilometers an hour, high-speed yumps were bound to catch the attention of both driver and navigator. Greg Wiebel and Warren Claassen had moved up into second spot and were doing their best to put Carolyn and Scholthammer under pressure. There was certainly no shortage of spectators along the route, with Cassie Coetzee reveling in the conditions. The Springbok rally driver and Wiley Harrington have moved up into third place and were taking the fight to the space frame drivers. Consistency was again the name of the game where Alfred van Vuren and Piet Pelser were concerned. They were well placed to take advantage of any mishaps hitting those ahead of them. Also moving up through the field were Philip Milan and Springbok navigator Richard Leek in the turbocharged Toyota Hilux 4x4. After a disappointing season so far, the pair were desperate for a good result. There were more problems for Klaus Degener and Derek Pinoy. The Duckham's Chenoweth was down to first and second gears, which was a major handicap on the fast sections. And a change of roles for Nardus Alberts. After navigating for Robin Yates for 2 seasons, Alberts has taken over driving duties in the Rapsa Raceco, and partnered by brother Paul, was going along very nicely. There were no problems too for Free Staters Theo Coetzee and Ian Wedderburn. The pair were in control of Class 3 in the imported Chev, which was at home in the conditions. Off-road faithfuls were quick to spot that the aging Toyota Land Cruiser, previously campaigned by Vryburg farmer Andre Koch, had changed hands. Cecil Fincham and Yanni Pretorius were up with the Class 6 leaders in a vehicle that has given valiant service over the years. A South African flag added a touch of colour to the Toyota Hilux in the hands of East Rand dairy farmer Alex Vowles and Corrie de Rutt. They were under pressure from Linton Draper and were later to hit problems, although they made it to the finish. Giel Reyneke and Kevin Newstadt were leading Class 1 in the standard Mazda Bakkie, but the dust caused a problem or two for the Smith brothers, Tom and Joe. The Smith brothers are sons of the former Roof of Africa winner John Smith and are following in Dad's footsteps. Former South African champion Fred Levesque picked up a hefty time penalty on the first racing section and was battling to make up time to finally finish second in Class 9 in the Motortech car. Some of the locals were indifferent about the action going on around them, but Jeremy Davies was still hard at work at the front of the field on the Truck Africa KTM. Alfie Cox on the Fort Fire Kawasaki had finally fought his way up into second place. He was now charging after old friend and rival Davies, but still had plenty of work ahead of him. Mark Myron had slipped back into third spot on the Castrol Honda, but had ridden a workmanlike race to stay in touch with the 2 frontrunners. Errol Dalton was also starting to throw the Bird Paradise Kawasaki around in spectacular fashion. With race distance running out rapidly, Dalton was in the middle of a late charge. Also charging was Brian Bontekoning, still in 5th place overall on the 200 Winston Yamaha in a tremendous performance. Saki Niemann took the odd wide line here and there, but was still going strong on the Sun City Honda. Also still holding down a place in the top 10 was Yanni de Bruyn, who had performed admirably on the NGK Team Green Kawasaki. Gavin Nimmo had lost touch with the leaders, with the pace up front even faster than most had predicted. Nimmo was still holding off his Winston Yamaha teammate Richard Manning, with the pair also starting to force the pace in the later stages of the race. John Hodgson had also forced his way into the top 10 on the Pelham Products KTM, but was under severe pressure from Kevin Tebbett on the Sun City Honda. Off-road race surroundings are often rustic, but there was nothing rustic about the pace Bux Carolyn and Kenny Scholthammer were setting at the front of the car field. With the conditions very much to his liking, Kasi Kutsia had moved the Toyota Hilux into second place and was proving a handful for the space frame merchants. Alfred van Vuuren and Piet Pelser were also striking a blow for the Bucky Brigade and were in a solid third place. Scything their way through the field were Philip Milan and Richard Leake. In their best performance for a long time, the pair were well in control of Class 6. On the bike front, Jeremy Davies was still out in front on the Truck Africa KTM, but was starting to come under pressure from Alfie Cox, although the Kawasaki rider was not helped by a serious dust problem. Our brave Brian Bontekoning had ridden nearly 200 kilometres with a flat back tyre, but still had the throttle wide open. The fact that the Winston Yamaha was bucking all over the place did not deter Bontekoning. Errol Dalton also had the throttle wide open and had enough energy left to pop a huge wheelie when he spotted our cameraman. Up at the finish, Bux Carolyn and Kenny Scholthammer had overcome a few late problems to make it first to the flag to chalk up another victory. Second home were Alfred van Vuuren and Piet Pelser, with the hard luck story of the day going to Kasi Kutsia and Wiley Harrington. The pair were in the lead when they picked up a puncture. Carolyn and van Vuuren steamed past, and to add insult to injury, Kutsia and Wiley Harrington were excluded for losing their Marshall's checkpoint car.
One of those days, eh? We had two punches off the refuel and we ran out of tyres, so the last 50-60 k's we had to really take it easy, and Kasi got in front of us, and he unfortunately had a punch, otherwise it would have been his race, but we got here before him, so we won.
A hard-earned win for Carolyn and Scholthammer, with plenty of late race drama. But with only one space frame car in the top 10, the race belonged to the Buckies. There was also late drama on the bike side. Both Jeremy Davies and Alfie Cox got into a tangle over route markings. Davies got himself back on course quickest, and then it was plain sailing.
80 k's out. We got together and the marking was a little bad. He'd wrong slot here, I'd wrong slot there, and eventually I got the break and I took advantage of it. I made as much dust as possible so he couldn't come back past me.
Cox came home 2 minutes behind Davies, and after a warm welcome from his wife, had a tale of woe to tell.
I slipped down on the corner and the handlebars bent forward, so I couldn't ride with the handlebars in the position it was. So I thought maybe I could get lucky and Jeremy might get lost or the marking would be bad, so I'll straighten the handlebars and then I'll take a chance, you know, and it never worked out.
A good race between some superb riders, with Jeremy Davies again showing his mettle. Brian Bontekoning's name is missing from the results, with the Winston Yamaha rider excluded for overshooting the finish line.